I've played Stalker 2. I know the story, I know the zone, I know what happens. And yet, every time I come back to this game, I somehow end up doing something completely different than I planned in the first place. I'll leave to do one thing, get into a fight with some random bandits, find a dead Stalker's PDA, follow a lead to a hidden stash somewhere, to simply get attacked by mutants. And suddenly, an hour just seems to go by. And I think that's what Stalker 2 does better than almost anything else. It makes you curious about what happens next. So, with the next DLC coming up real soon, I decided to jump back into the zone in 2026 and figure out why the hell this game keeps pulling me back in. And honestly, the timing couldn't really be better. With the new DLC coming up, I wanted to get back into Stalker 2 and remind myself what the game actually feels like now. Because when this game originally came out, there was a lot going on. People talked about the performance, the bugs, the stuttering, and I definitely remember experiencing some of that myself. But coming back to it now, it feels like a much easier game to appreciate. I'm playing at 4K DLSS everything on Epic, and yeah guys, holy shit, this game still looks fantastic. If you're a graphics nerd like me, Stalker 2 has aged really damn well visually. There are moments where I'm just walking through the zone and think, how does this still look so freaking good? But as impressive as that is, that's not actually what keeps me coming back. Because there are plenty of games that look incredible, right? What I think Stalker does differently is the feeling of this world. The zone has always had this really strange atmosphere to me. It's grey, it's gritty, and it's dangerous. And somehow it feels like it's hiding thousands of things just basically from the player. You can look at a building in the distance and immediately wonder, what's inside there? You see something on your map and think, can I actually get over there? You hear something in the distance and think, what the hell was that? And that's something I just simply really love. The zone doesn't feel like a theme park where the developers are constantly pointing at the next attraction, right? It feels like a place that exists whether you're looking at it or not. And this is where I think Stalker 2 really gets me. You never completely know what the next few minutes are going to be like. Maybe you're walking somewhere and suddenly some bandits start shooting at you, right? You didn't plan for that. You weren't following a quest, you're just trying to get somewhere. So now you have to deal with them. You survive, you keep walking, and then you stumble across a dead soldier. There's a PDA. You read it. And now there's a reason to go somewhere where you originally didn't even plan to go to. Maybe there's a stash there. So obviously, now I want that stash. And while you're trying to get there, some mutants decide to, see if they can eat you for lunch. And that's the thing. None of these individual moments sound particularly revolutionary, but together they create stories. Stories that I didn't plan on experiencing when I started playing. And those are the moments I simply remember. And I think that's why Stalker 2 feels different from a lot of open world games. A lot of open world games are incredibly large, but you always know what the game wants you to do. Here is the quest, here is the marker, here is the reward. Go there, come back, done. Stalker can do that too, obviously, don't get me wrong, but some of my favorite moments aren't the things that the game explicitly tells me to do. There are the things I can accidentally stumble into, and that's why I can replay the game knowing what's going to happen in the main story. And I still have moments where I'm honestly thinking, wait, what the fuck is happening over there, right? That's the kind of unpredictability I want from an open world. And the systems underneath the world help a lot with that too. Like anomalies and artifacts, you can find something that looks like a great reward and then realize you've basically equipped yourself with a radiation machine. Which, by the way, I learned the hard way. When I first played Stalker, I'd find an artifact and think, oh shit, that's awesome. I'd equip it, start getting radiation, and I'm sitting there wondering what the hell I did wrong. because the game doesn't just give you a reward and say congratulations. There are consequences. You need the right gear. You need to understand what you're carrying. You need to think about how you want to build your character. And suddenly, even exploring for loot becomes another little risk-reward decision. And this wouldn't be a Stalker video if I didn't talk about the gunplay, guys. Because when those unexpected moments happen, I actually enjoy dealing with them. The weapons feel great, the animations are great, there's weight to the shooting, so when some random group of bandits decides to ruin my afternoon in the game, I am not thinking, great, another combat encounter. I am thinking, alright, let's fucking do this. And that matters because the unpredictable world only works if the actual moment-to-moment gameplay is satisfying enough to make you want to react to it. And there is one thing, guys, that keeps coming back into my skull when I think about Stalker. And that is that I really want the Gamma mod for Stalker 2. Or just something that's really close to it. For those who have played Gamma, it's a mod for Stalker 1. And let me tell you, it's one hell of a mod. And I want it for Stalker 2. Because if you have played Stalker Anomaly with Gamma, you know how much deeper that experience can become, right? Custom mods, new weapons, unique systems, building out your own little, base or setup. There are so many things you can do that make the zone feel like somewhere you could just disappear into. And that's exactly what I want from Stalker 2. I could genuinely play this game for hours, right? If it had that kind of sandbox depth. And maybe there's already something like that for Stalker 2, but I haven't really found it yet. And if there is, guys, honestly, please, please, please tell me in the comments down below, because I really want to play something just like it. And yes, of course, Stalker 2 isn't perfect. I still get occasional stutters when transitioning from cutscenes into gameplay, and honestly, I'm curious if I am the only one here, because I remember this being an issue around launch, and even now I still occasionally get it. It's not enough to ruin the game for me, but it's definitely enough to remind me, yeah, this is Stalker 2. And the story itself, I still find it interesting. There are some really cool moments, especially if you have played the older Stalker games and recognize some of the characters and the lore, but I also think it's a little all over the place sometimes. It's not the reason I am coming back, it's pretty much the zone. That is what keeps me coming back to the game. So, is Stalker 2 worth playing in 2026? Honestly, yeah. If you like shooters, RPGs, and single-player games where the world doesn't constantly hold your freaking hand, I genuinely think you should give it a shot. And if you have never played Stalker before, I'd actually recommend starting with the older games too, the Stalker 1 series. Because there is so much history behind this series, and Stalker 2 becomes even way more interesting when you recognize some of that history. But it's not required, it's just a little, tip from me. But even if you have already played Stalker 2, I think now is a pretty good time to come back. The game is in a better place than it was at launch, it still looks simply incredible, the DLC is coming, and most importantly, the zone is still the zone. And I figured pretty much out why Stalker 2 keeps pulling me back. It's not one mechanic, it's not the graphics, it's not even the freaking story. It's the possibility that something might happen. I can start the game knowing exactly where I'm going. I can know what the story is. I can know the areas I've already visited. And somehow, I'll still end up following a random PDA, or chasing a stash, or fighting mutants, or wandering somewhere I didn't even plan to go. And suddenly, I've created another little story that wasn't there when I started playing. That's the zone, and I think that's why I keep coming back. You don't come back to the zone because you know exactly what's going to happen. You come back because you know something will.